Hello everybody, getting ready to do lesson 11.2, Pre-Algebra Math, Part 1 today. Yay! 11.2, box and whisker plots today. Got a 38-point classwork sheet, 20 points here for notebook taking today. Teachers, today's bell work. Find the midpoint of the segment, students. Find the slope, students, of these between these 2 points here. And I give your students 5 minutes to do this. Okay, welcome back. For your solutions, hey, you get this one first. Your slope is -8/5 here. You plug in here from here. And then for number 1, here is your midpoint here. You plug in into your formula from these 2 points. You get -11/2 and 0 here for your midpoint. Into our lesson today, classwork sheet page 1. You've made stem and leaves. You'll make and interpret box and whiskers. And we have a word problem here about a orange farmer. And then these are oranges, amount of oranges produced over the last 9 years that an orange tree has produced here. And then, so what do we do with it? A useful way to display the data is with a box and whisker plot, which is a data display that organizes data values in 4 groups. So, okay. So we got this. What do we do with it? Well, out here. Ordered data are divided into lower half and upper half by the median. The median of the lower half is the lower quartile. The median of the upper half is called the upper quartile. The lower extreme is the least data value, and the upper is the greatest data value. Students, in your own words, define these terms and put it in your notebook, page 3, for lesson 11.2, and I'll check that on Friday. Upper quartile, lower quartile, lower extreme in your notebook. Definitions, lower extreme, upper extreme in your notebook, 10 points, 10 points. Page 4, 11.2 lesson in your notebook. Okay, example 1, making a box and whisker plot, hooray! To display the data above in a box and whisker plot, here is our number here of oranges, remember? First, order the data to find the median, the quartiles, and the extremes. So we need to order these from least to greatest, right? So when we do that, we have a lower half here. We have a median in between. So we got 4 of these data values in the lower half. We have 1 right in the center, and then we have an upper half of these data values here. So we got 4 and 4. Is 8 plus 1 is 9. So we got 9 data values here. And then when we order them from least to greatest, we get this. Okay, in our lower half, we find the average here of the lower half, which is 370. So that would be our lower quartile here. And then our upper half, when we take the average of our upper half here, 458 plus 460, that'd be our middle value here. That'd be 459. This is our middle value here of our between 360 and 380. That'd be our middle value here of our lower half. This is our middle value here of our upper half, which would be this number here. And then we're gonna make a box and whisker of our situation here. So here's our lower extreme, 264. Here's our upper extreme, 572, and then we have a median here of 452, which is right here, and then we have a 459 number here, which is our the middle part of our upper half, and then the middle part of our lower half would be 370, which is right there. So draw a box from the lower quartile to the upper quartile. So we have our lower quartile, 370, and then 459 up here. Then draw a vertical line through the median. So here's our median right here. 452. Draw a horizontal line or a whisker from the box to each extreme. Here's a whisker, and then here's a whisker here. So that's how we use a box and whisker plot. There's that. Here's a whisker here. Here's a whisker here. And then that's how it is. Okay, make a box and whisker plot of this. Hey, we got this. Since this is yours, pay attention so you can do yours. This only answers you. You need more room, attach a sheet. You know, take a picture of it, send it in from your phone if you're doing this online. Okay, so let's make a box and whisker of this. Here's our lower, here's our upper half. Do we have a median here? Well, our median is 57 plus 60 over 2, which is 58.5. So our upper quartile is 65. Lower quartile is 54. So here's the bottom part of the box, upper part. Here's our median here. We draw a box here, put in our median line. Then here's our whiskers out here to our extremes. So this be a box and whisker of this data set here. Students, pay attention so you can do yours, okay? Okay, interpreting a box and whisker separates data into 4 sections, 2 parts of the box and 2 whiskers. All 4 sections contain approximately the same number of data values. So we have an example here of a box and whisker. The entire box here is about 50%. This 50%. 25% lie on in the box on each side of the median. So we have 25% up here and 25% here. And then each whisker represents about 25% of the data. You got 25% up here. The extremes will take in. Here's the mid of the upper quartile. Here's the mid of the lower quartile. So remember that. And then your whiskers contain the remaining 25%. Yeah, 25 there, and then 25 out here. So the length subsections tell you how spread out the data is. For instance, in example 1, they're more spread out between the lower and the median than they are between the median and the upper. So we have more of a spread between here and here than we do from here to here, right? I mean, that's pretty obvious here when you look at that. It shows that pretty well. A box and whisker will show the spread of your data really well. So interpreting a box and whisker, state parks. So we have a situation here. I mean, here is the box and whisker of attendance and state parks. We have a bottom whisker out here at 0.7, 4.6. 8.9 is the median, and then the middle between the upper half is 18.2, and then we have an extreme out here of 98.5. So this really shows you the spread of your data here. I mean, you have a median here, and then everything else on this upper half here is spread out pretty far. The lower part, not so much. So about how many states had fewer than 18.2 million visitors to the state park? So 18.2 is about here. About how many states had fewer than. So what do we do with that? The upper quartile is 18.2. So each whisker and each part of the box represents about 25%. So that means 75% of the data is below this point here. Between here and here, 75% of the data. So 75% of 50 is 37, so they had fewer than 18.2. So that'd be an immediate way that you can look at a box and whisker and determine the percentage of data beneath the 18.2 mark. That you can analyze that pretty quickly. West Virginia had 8.0. How does West Virginia compare with the rest of the states? So West Virginia's number of visitors is greater than the lower quartile. So lower quartile would be here, 4.6. So West Virginia had more visitors than about 25% of the states. West Virginia's number of visitors is less than the median. It's less than 8.9. So West Virginia had fewer visitors than about 50% of the states. That'd be a kind of a quick way of assessing that. Okay, guided practice. Price in dollars of CD players. Here they are. Make a box and Whisker is $72. This is your students here. Pay attention so you can respond to your independent practice in an acceptable manner. Okay, here is our data here that we have set out. We have a median here, 65. Here's our upper half. Here's our lower half. And then our lower quartile is between 35 and 49, so it's 42. And then up here, upper is between 90 and 100, which is 95. Here, 90 and 100. So here's our box and Whisker. We have 42, a lower quartile here. And then our upper quartile is 95. We have a median of 65. Then we have an upper extreme 120, lower extreme of 30. So that's your box and Whisker of this data set up here. And that was 11.2 part 1. Part 2 is available here. And worksheets and tutoring and tests and quizzes and everything else. Thank you.